With the 7th pick in the 2009 NBA Draft, the Golden State Warriors select Stephen Curry from Davidson College.
The 6'3" junior guard out of Davidson, quite simply, is the best shooter in the draft.
In the 2011 NBA Draft, the Golden State Warriors select Klay Thompson from Washington State University.
A new era is brewing in Golden State. A new deadly young shooting duo, with former NBA All-Star and ESPN analyst Mark Jackson taking the throne of the head coaching job. Between the late 90s and 2000s, the Golden State Warriors were one of the laughingstocks of the NBA, making the postseason just one time since 1994. But with some knowledge, NBA experience, and a thriving young core, the Golden State Warriors hope to revive the winning culture that they once had before. However, this wasn't really the case right away. In a shortened season, the 2012 Warriors went 23-43. 2010 6th overall pick Ekpe Udoh proved to be a bust, and Curry took a dip in production. After making several improvements in the offseason, the Warriors got a glimpse of what was to come.
Curry with the quick three. Curry for the lead. Got it. Pick and roll. Take it out of Curry's hands. Good ball fake. The Warriors have connected on 14 of the last 16. For three. Got it.
Stat just too accomplished.
Now they switch to Prigioni. Easy money for Steph Curry.
Better look out. That guy is hot.
Curry for three. Wow! Unbelievable! Well contested, a 2-on-1 back the other way. Curry, why not? For three! Bingo! Curry off the screen, got enough room. Again! Butter! Steph Curry!
The breakout Warriors finished with 47 wins and the 6th seed in the West. And the story wouldn't end there. Steph Curry won an absolute tear to lead the Warriors over the Nuggets in 6 games. Despite falling to a loaded Spurs roster in the second round, the Warriors proved that they were on the rise and here to battle for the top of the West. And to help them with that battle, they brought in yet another star, Andre Iguodala from the Denver Nuggets, who they recently just beat. The Splash Bros led the Warriors to 51 wins and yet another 6th seed. However, the Warriors would fall to the Lob City Clippers in 7 games. This first round exit would push the front office to their edge, shockingly announcing that 3-year head coach Mark Jackson would be fired.
We appreciate everything that Mark was able to do for this organization over the last 3 years. He put us in a better place than when he arrived, and we complimented for that. When factoring in everything in its totality in regards to Mark, we felt like, although he'd accomplished quite a bit, we wanted to move in a direction where maybe we were possibly more aligned as an organization entirely. And as far as what we think we can obtain, we think we can obtain the similar results, but in totality have a candidate that we can move forward with in that direction.
You know, they made the playoffs one time in 17 years before he got there, and he got them to the playoffs back-to-back years. Him getting fired was 100% unfair.
While Steve Kerr had 0 NBA coaching experience, he did have NBA experience, and it sure was good. Steve played alongside MJ and was a part of one of the greatest dynasties of all time. In fact, Steve won 5 rings in his NBA playing career. It's clear what Golden State was trying to do with this hiring. They were trying to win, and I think they found that guy. It's safe to say the Kerr era started out hot, winning 21 of their first 23. The big three of Steph, Klay, and Dre led the Warriors to their best season in franchise history with 67 wins and the 1 seed in the West. Despite getting a contest from the Grizzlies in the second round, the Warriors pretty much cruised their way through the Western Conference into the NBA Finals. Game 1. The first NBA Finals in the Bay Area in over 40 years. Led by regular season MVP Stephen Curry, Golden State looks to grab momentum early into the series. But on the other side of the showdown was 2-time NBA champion LeBron James. The Warriors used their home court advantage to perfection, winning Game 1 in Oracle. The action would pick up even more in Game 2. Steph Curry showed the ice in his veins with a game-tying layup to end the fourth quarter. But when Golden State called his name again, he failed to deliver on the shot that would have sent them to Cleveland with a 2-0 lead. In Game 2, the Kings seek vengeance. putting up an astounding 39-point triple-double to lead the Cavs over the Dubs in Game 2. The King came into Cleveland wanting a ring, putting up a 40-point double-double in the return to Cleveland. But Cleveland didn't have just some sort of one-man show. Even in the absence of Kyrie Irving, Cleveland found someone to co-star with the King. Australian point guard Matthew Dellavedova put up a 20 spot to push the Cavs ahead in the series. But Golden State was way too good to lose hope. The Splash Bros were doing all that they could possibly do, but it was clear that they needed at least some help, and they needed it now more than ever. You see, step one of shutting down these East Coast giants is by taking out the main power source. So in Game 4, they held LeBron to only 20 points. And step 2 was to build a greater army. In Game 4, the Splash Bros finally got their help. Andre Iguodala, Draymond Green, and Harrison Barnes all helped to push the series even at 2 apiece. And now, heading back to the Bay Area, Golden State is feeling as unified as ever and has all the momentum. Even with LeBron putting up 40 a night, the Warriors can still find a way to win. Whether it's the Splash Bros scoring, Draymond Green's defense and rebounding, Steve Kerr's mentorship, or Andre Iguodala's do-it-all attitude, the Golden State Warriors have proved that they aren't a joke to the NBA, and rather they are a problem to be reckoned with. The Warriors win Game 5, and they're heading to Cleveland 1 win away from their first title in 40 years. Believe me, LeBron and company tried to fight, but they couldn't grasp what was at their fingertips. The team that they were dealing with was good in all aspects of the game. During the finals, Andre Iguodala became a different breed. And add that onto that dynamic roster and you have an NBA championship.
And the dream season is now complete. The Golden State Warriors are the 2015 NBA champions. Their first title in 40 years. And how sweet it must be for those crazy loyal Bay Area fans.
This year's Bill Russell MVP is a player who didn't start in a single game until these finals. Andre Iguodala.
People don't understand how hard the journey is to get here.
The Dubs picked up right where they left off, historically starting the season 24-0, which is the greatest start in NBA history. Not to mention Steph Curry was having an all-time year. After outlasting the Grizzlies 125-104, the Warriors officially eclipsed the greatest feat in NBA regular season history. The 2016 Warriors finished 73-9. Just one win beyond the 96 Bulls led by MJ. While the Warriors cruised to the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, they found themselves against the wall down 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals against the OKC Thunder.
And knock it down. A long three. Curry from deep. Yes. Here's Curry for 3. Again, it is Iguodala. Thompson fires for 3. Up 21. Here's Curry. Yes. Curry over Durant. Yes. And he fires. Yes.
With the historic shooting display by the Splash Bros, not only do the Warriors come back down 3-1, but they also have 2 incredible comebacks in Game 6 and Game 7 to book a rematch against Cleveland in the NBA Finals. Potentially the greatest season in NBA history is 1 game away from being crowned champion. With some tough work by King James, Cleveland clawed their way back and forced a Game 7 in Oakland.
Back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James.
here, and it's Golden State for Kevin Durant.
The weakest move I've ever seen from a superstar.
For really, saying he wants to be here for his entire career and then leaving.
And Draymond Green were booed by the sellout crowd at Staples Center before a 3-1 lead, and then choked in the last 3 games.
Before we continue, less than 1% of you guys watching right now are subscribed. If you're new here, hi, my name is Johnny. I have a dream of one day being a sports analyst. And with this channel, it can help me put my name out there. In every single video that I try to make for you guys, I hope you know I put every single ounce of effort that I possibly can. I'm truly passionate about every single video that I make, and I hope that you guys can enjoy it. My goal with this channel is to educate you guys about the beauty of sports, but not only that, also, brighten up your day. I want to get to educate as many people as I possibly can. But it's all up to you guys. You see, every like, every subscribe that you guys do, it helps get my videos out there. And the simple act that I ask of you guys is just to simply hit that subscribe button so that you can stay up to date on my latest posts. Now let's get back to the video. The noise was loud and clear. Some criticized KD calling him a coward and a bandwagon. Others called it simply chasing a chip. Regardless, the Golden State Warriors are now heavy favorites for an NBA title. And to absolutely no one's surprise, the Warriors finished with 67 wins in the 1 seed in the West. Then they'd go 16-1 in the postseason for their second title in 3 years. And the following season would finish just as they imagined, going back-to-back and cementing themselves as a perennial dynasty. In the 2019 season, the Warriors found themselves yet again in the NBA Finals for the 4th straight year. However, little did they know, this is where all hell would break loose. In Game 5 of the series, down 3-1, KD fell down and tore his right Achilles after battling with calf injuries constantly throughout the postseason. After toughing out a Game 5 win without KD, the Warriors had a Game 6 at home. The injury bug bit them yet again as Klay Thompson tore his ACL. And just at the glimpse of this scene, we could see that something special was ending here in Golden State. Kevin Durant was included in a sign and trade deal that would send him to Brooklyn to team up with Kyrie Irving. In that exchange, Golden State got budding superstar D'Angelo Russell. But Klay Thompson's injury was so severe, he couldn't play the entirety of the season. And Golden State just simply could not catch a break as Steph Curry broke his hand 4 games in the year. With Steph, Klay, and KD gone, the one guy that Golden State had to lean on was Draymond Green. And with him only averaging 8 points per game, Golden State was out of contention early into the year. At the deadline, Golden State swapped their experiment guard, D'Angelo Russell, in exchange for former first overall pick Andrew Wiggins. Long story short, the fall of the Golden State Warriors was absolutely colossal. Going from 5 straight NBA Finals appearances straight to the worst record in the NBA. And with their upcoming season, the Golden State Warriors hope to get some helping hands back. And right when they needed it most, Steph Curry came back in his greatest form. Curry had potentially the best season of his career, dropping a historic 32 points per game. And despite Klay still not being able to play by his side quite yet, he saw his young supporting cast beginning to rise up to the occasion. The improvement from this season to last was evident, but the production still wasn't quite living up to their expectations. The Warriors finished 6 games over 500. It was good enough for the 8th seed in the West. But with the new play-in tournament, the Warriors had to earn their spot in the playoffs. And that was something that they just simply couldn't do, falling to the Lakers and then the Grizzlies, forcing their season to come to an end early. But heading into the upcoming season, Golden State had some championship hope. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new era of Warriors basketball. Something about the 2022 team was just different. Yeah, they didn't have KD, but even with that, they were still incredibly efficient. This season, we finally saw the Splash Bros reunited on the court. But with this team, it wasn't just the Splash Bros. In those 2 strugglesome years, Golden State built up an incredible young core. From Jordan Poole to Kevin Looney to so-called veterans in Andrew Wiggins and Gary Payton II. This young core has sprouted into something special. And with the core of the historic 2016 team back together, there is no stopping this Warriors team. And just like that, the Warriors were back on the map, finishing with 53 wins in the 3rd seed in the West. Warriors were able to slide past MVP Nikola Jokic in the 1st round. But in the 2nd round, they found themselves in a revenge situation against the 2-seeded up-and-coming Memphis Grizzlies. Remember that team who ended their season early last season, when Ja Morant embarrassed them? Well, Steph and the Dubs got the last laugh, defeating Ja and the Grizzlies in 6 epic games. In the Western Conference Finals, they would face off against European superstar Luka Doncic and the Mavs. In this big-time Western Conference duel, Golden State just played and simply outmatched Dallas. Whether it was depth, talent, shooting, or rebounding, the Warriors had too much to contain with only one guy. With their young core showing off, and their vets proving they haven't aged one bit, the Warriors advanced to their first NBA Finals in 3 years. Game 1, 2022 NBA Finals. It's the best defensive team in the NBA, the Boston Celtics, against a thriving team from deep in the Golden State Warriors. In Game 1, both teams continuously traded jabs. After trailing by a little bit over 10 points heading into the fourth quarter, Celtics veteran big man Al Horford took flight, leading the Celtics to a clutch Game 1 victory. But Steph and the Dubs took offense to that Game 1 loss. They sure as heck wouldn't let this newcomer team come into the Bay and win 2 games. So the Warriors snatched Game 2 on the back of Jordan Poole and Steph Curry. Game 3 saw the first NBA Finals game back in Boston in 12 seasons. And Boston's young trio put on a show for the Garden, with Smart, Tatum, and Brown all combining for a total of 77 points. This would push Boston ahead in the series 2-1. But Curry and the Warriors would simply not back down from a challenge. It was evidently clear which team had been there before, and which team had gotten over the most humps to get to this position. Every single haymaker you throw at Golden State, they will return it. And if that team ever catches you sleeping, they will pounce on that opportunity. Steph Curry put up a monster 43 points to bring the series back to the Bay, knotted up at 2. Game 5 was potentially the biggest game of the series. We saw Boston take an early lead, but yet again, Golden State would answer. And in the second half, we saw a new star emerge. In the second half, forward Andrew Wiggins went intraterrestrial, finishing with 26 and 13 to grab a lead in the series. And headed back to Boston, Golden State can feel their 4th title right at their fingertips. In Game 6, who else would be the star of the show? The man who had started this dynasty. The 7th overall draft pick out of Davidson College was picked up by a franchise who was lost. A franchise who hadn't made the playoffs in a long time. Well, with a couple of additional pieces, Steph Curry was able to bloom into the superstar that he is today. 2 MVP awards, 8 All-Star teams, 4 first-team All-NBAs, and may be known as the greatest shooter to ever hit the hardwood. Well, now it is his time. All the ups and downs, the injuries and lottery picks, have now finally come back full circle.
It's over. The Golden State Warriors return to a familiar place. They're on top of the NBA world. The 4th title in 8 years. The Dubs dynasty is still very much alive.
The 2022 Bill Russell NBA Finals MVP award goes to Steph Curry.
Just brought in some ends, little bitches the first of the month. Run, I'm in the game, little bitch, I'm a the city, I'm afraid of the sun.